I'm Scott from the Rio Grande Tech team, and today I'm going to offer you a few tips on how to break fewer saw blades. So the first thing you want to look at is you want to choose the correct blade for the size of sheet or wire that you're cutting. The idea is to have 3 teeth contacting the metal at all times. This will keep your blade from hanging up and starting and stopping. You'll get a much smoother cut. And rather than doing the math yourself, you can check out our saw blade specification chart linked in the description below. So the next thing is to have your blade properly tensioned. And with this German saw frame, the way we're going to do that is we're going to put it in our bench pin. I'm going to line the blade up in the frame, and I'm going to press with my chest and then tighten it. Now when I pluck it, I want it to have a bit of a high pitch ring to it, and that's how I know my blade is properly tensioned. So the first thing we want to do is sit down in our chair, make sure our back is straight in a comfortable sitting position, put on our safety glasses, and then we can use our GRS slide lock to adjust the bench pin so that our arm is at a 90-degree angle. We grab some BurLife, and now we can start sawing comfortably. So when you're sawing, you want to make sure to use long, even strokes and not short and choppy ones. The short and choppy cuts will tend to waver, your blade will get stuck more often, and you'll break them more often. Use long, even cuts. You're using the majority of the blade, and you're going to get a much straighter cut. So the next step, when you're sawing around corners, you want to make sure to move the piece and not the blade. So here I'm coming up to a corner, and I'm going to keep that blade in place, keep moving, and occasionally it'll catch a little bit, but I'm very carefully keeping my blade straight. I'm only moving the piece, and then I'm back on my line to keep going. If you move the blade rather than the workpiece, you can actually get a twisting of the blade, which will put a strain on it, and most likely it will break. So when you're sawing, you want to have a really light grip on the saw frames. My hand is very loose at the moment. You don't want to do a death grip on it. If you're putting a death grip on it, you put too much force into your sawing, and when you get caught, that blade will break instantly. So I've got a really light grip on the frame. Just letting the saw do the work. So on our saw blades, we want to use a lubricant like BurLife. So what BurLife will do is it will create a much smoother cut, it will create less chatter, and I have a bit less cleanup on the edges of the metal because I am getting a bit smoother cut. So another important tip is to wear eye protection while you're sawing. When blades do break, they occasionally do, you can have pieces of the blade that are flying out, and also when you're sawing, you have metal dust that's going into the air. So it's important to wear eye protection to make sure that none of those get in your eyes. So the next tip is to get yourself some quality blades. I have always recommended the laser gold saw blades because they have a perfect balance of strength for a long life, but also flexibility so they're not breaking so much. Having irregular spaced teeth can cause binding, it can cause the blade to get stuck, which causes it to flex and break. So get yourself some high quality blades. They will save you a lot of money in the long run. So the last tip is to simply relax. Stress can cause all these previous tips we've been discussing to go right out the window. So before you start sawing, relax yourself, don't try to rush it, get comfortable, and you will break less blades over the long term. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us.